I'm looking for in a lover is childbearing hips because I have a big head. My name is Alberto. For a living, I work at maintenance. It's pretty wild. Those guys know how to have fun. My best qualities are that I can cook a patty melt. My favorite meal is going to be alfajores, which is cookie with, on the inside is a brown goo. And that goo is going to be almost as sweet as burdo. People say that I fall in love too quick. But to that I say, I love you. I am a very fun guy. When I do fun guy stuff, my friends call me Chester the Wise Guy. For fun, I like to read romance books because I'm always the lead character inside of my head. The best advice that I ever received was love is a choice. That's why you choose it every morning. I believe that there is a God and that his name is Jesus. And I would love to talk to you about that.
Well, welcome to a Thunderdome Thursday edition of the B Team, presented by Southwood Valley Animal Hospital. He's Richard Zane. I'm Ryan Brauninger. At Southwood Valley Animal Hospital, they are a full-service vet clinic with tailor-made wellness plans for your pet. They get sick, take care of sick visits, daytime emergency care, advanced surgical capabilities, preventative medicine, and much more. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as their website, southwoodvalleyvet.com. You can schedule appointments on the website, or you can call them at 979-693-9898. That's 979-693-9898. You were just introduced to Alberto, or
AKA Chester.
Or whenever he's in a fun mood, his friends call him Chester. And he wants to tell you about Jesus. And it's interestingly enough, to my Jewish friend here, maybe I don't know how much of a conversation you and Alberto will have, but it was fitting for the Christmas season, maybe not so much the Hanukkah season. I got to be honest with you, Richard. When I sent that to Kate, and most of the time when I send these VHS dates to Kate to get ready for the Thursday show, I only watch like the first 4 or 5 sentences to see if they've got me and they've hooked me. Like I would want to go on a date with Alberto. So I didn't get all the way to the end. So I do apologize for that.
Why would you need to apologize? He just wants to talk about something he's passionate about, just like we do here on this here show.
Oh, that's exactly
the number
right.
one drive time show in the country.
And just like Alberto's number one quality is that he can make a patty melt.
Which had me very interested.
Very interesting. It's very intriguing number one quality. But just like Alberto can make a patty melt, I think I can put together an elite snack pack. So today's Thunderdome Thursday bit. To my right here, off camera, you cannot see it. I've got a couple of bags from Howard E. Butt's grocery store. And I have gone to Howard E. Butt's earlier today and put together what I would consider an elite level snack pack, as good as you can. I tried to hit on sweet and savory and healthy and unhealthy and everything in between, and not be like where we're just overloading it in terms of quantity. We did. I think there's 7 items that I think make an elite snack pack for a road trip, for a midday snack. And what jogged this idea in my brain was how many hours I spent in a hospital over the last 7 days. And the hospital, God bless them, thank them for all their help this week. The dining options are very limited. So if you are going for an extended stay at any hospital, I would imagine, make sure that you bring an elite snack pack. So I tried to put together an elite snack pack for my guys. Richard Zane, as I said, my co-host, Cade Bickham, producing the show. We are going to start this snack pack. We're going to get our protein and our savoriness in with an Archer Beef Stick Mini. These are an outstanding brand. I have really grown to like them.
They've had them in the office. They've been fantastic. Sometimes 2 or 3 of these bad boys in a bag of goldfish and a cheese stick are lunches for me.
Well, Richard's already getting into his snack pack.
I'm a fan.
But these are only 45 calories, 4 grams of protein.
I wish I had more grams of protein.
So this is what we would start with, a little bit on the healthy side here. Getting our proteins in. Richard loves a meat stick. I knew he did. One of the first things I think you've ever told me when we met. Hi, I'm Richard Zane. I love a meat stick.
Well, Olin did tell people in this very chair earlier this week that he is not a big sausage guy.
You know, I didn't really need to know that about Olin, but good for him.
Not really surprising, right? Like
actually.
you look at him and you're like, that guy's not really a big sausage
I'm not
guy.
a big sausage guy. Be careful how you talk about Ola in the chat, Will.
I haven't seen the guy who always wants him. He'll be here soon, I'm sure.
Anyway, a Thunderdome Thursday means we are going to predict games, and we will continue on our Elite Snack Pack. Started with a beef jerky stick. I've sent some tweets for Cade to prep about some of the stuff I saw across the internet yesterday, so he's got those ready.
I do.
But I wanted to start with just the timing. Reminder that we're going to start this show at 4:30 going forward as long as my son is in the NICU, because we get to hold him at 2 o'clock, and I'm not going to pull mama off of him. So we just bumped it back by 15 minutes. But today, so we will move the start time to 4:30. We'll see if we go to 5:45 or keep it to 6, and an hour and a half long show. But today, Richard, we are stopping at 5:30. Why?
Huge. And I think that might even be underselling it a bit. The biggest volleyball match in Texas A&M history, 5:30 p.m., ESPN, Jamie Morrison, the AVCA head coach of the year, Jamie Morrison, and his Fighting Texas Aggies taking on another number 1 seed and the reigning National Player of the Year in Olivia Babcock. Ags and Pitt Panthers in the national semifinal, the Final Four, from Kansas City at the T-Mobile Center down the Power and Light District. You ever been to Kansas City?
I have been to Kansas City.
It's a really
when
cool
I played summer ball in Joplin, Missouri.
Oh yeah, you're a Jayhawk leaguer.
We went to the what's it called again? Because there's the Gas Lamp District in San Diego.
It's the Power and Light District.
Power and Light District in
I just
Kansas
said
City.
that.
I know.
You're not listening to me.
I did, but then I was looking for a thread here on the.
Usually I'm the one not listening to you.
That's very true. But I was wondering if you could give us perhaps a small, brief scouting report on Pitt. What do you know?
Olivia Babcock's really, really good. She's the reigning National Player of the Year. She's the National Player of the Year finalist. Again, I don't know if they announced that award this afternoon, Kate. I know they did Coach of the Year. I don't know if they did a Player of the Year.
I will check on that.
But she's really, really good. Pitt's a team that's got national championship pedigree to them. They won one not too long ago. It's going to be another battle of the heavyweights, right? Texas A&M's proven that they belong on this stage the way they've won their last 2 matches. They're going to have to keep those good vibes rolling, and it's another tall task, as you would expect it to be in the Final Four.
Sure.
As far as true scouting reports on volleyball teams, I am not Kay Nagley. Decidedly not Kay Nagley.
Kay Nagley and Callie Garner on the scene in KC. Eating well.
Of course, as you would expect them to, right? Anytime they go out, they get recommendations. They're going to try it. They're very adventurous when it comes to food.
Player of the Year announced tomorrow.
Okay, National Player of the Year announced tomorrow. So maybe Olivia Babcock ends up being a 2-time AVCA Player of the Year. Anyways, I did put out on Twitter. You definitely want to follow at Kay Nagley and at Callie Gardner on Twitter. They're the ones boots on the ground for TexAgs. They've been doing a fantastic job there so far this week, and not just with the restaurant decisions. They've been actually providing really good volleyball coverage, as you would expect from those 2 women.
So Aggie volleyball against Pitt will be off the air just a little bit before 5:30, so you guys can get over there to ESPN2 and get ready for the biggest match in this volleyball program's history. It's unlikely that a semifinal game is going to be as comfortable as Texas A&M baseball was against Florida a couple years ago.
Oh,
If you'll remember, that was the second game of a doubleheader for Florida.
Yeah, I actually just read through those stories because my intern's writing the Gamer, and she was asking, Olivia's her name, she's asking for any advice, and I'm like, well, be honest with you, TexAgs hasn't really been in these situations before. But here are some examples of how we handled the last time a team played in the national semifinal, or a winner-take-all, or a season ender, or a getting on the precipice kind of match kind of thing. So, yeah, 6-0, I believe, was the score.
Yeah, and it was a complete kind of inverse from the first game that A&M played Florida in that College World Series, where it was nip and tuck the whole way.
And Jace had to rob that home run.
A game of inches.
Yep. And
remember, it started super late because of the rain.
Right. It was some very odd circumstances. But when you got them in the semifinal, that was, again, the second game of the day for Florida. They had blasted – God, who did they beat up really bad? Kentucky, that's right. They beat Kentucky up. I remember Brody Donay had a couple of homers in that game. So the Gators' offense was riding high. And then enter Justin Lampkin, who mowed through the Gators pretty handily. There wasn't a lot of traffic in that game, I remember. And then Caden Sorrell had a big homer off of Neely late to really give A&M some breathing room. And they trotted out old number 53 from the bullpen. God. And I believe that game ended on an unassisted double play to Ali Camarillo.
I can't remember.
It was a comeback, kind of just off the mound.
Maybe.
Ali fielded it, stepped on the back, threw to Teddy at first. And it was like, I can remember walking out of the ballpark last night going, A&M's going to play for a national championship. And that game was like comfortable. You would never have anticipated that. And I hope Jamie Morrison gets to experience something like that tonight. How nice would it be if A&M can win this thing 3-1?
Oh, man, I would love if Texas A&M got off to a really hot start like they did last Sunday in Lincoln. Win the first set, it might be tight. Win the second set, might be tight. But, you've got a 2-set-to-none cushion going into the third and plenty of opportunities to close it out. I'd love for a 4-set victory. That would be amazing. But understanding that these are two high-caliber volleyball teams on the college game's biggest stage, expecting anything less than a 4-set match and maybe even anything less than a 5-set race to 15 in the fifth seems a bit, I don't know, what's the word?
Pie in the sky.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's, again, everybody dreams of that, but the likelihood of you getting it is very, very low, much like I think a lot of A&M fans would be very comfortable if the Aggies were going into the fourth quarter on Saturday morning against Miami. By then, Saturday afternoon with a 14-point lead. God, how nice would that be, Cade?
That would be brilliant.
But you just know.
But it's. I don't think that's how it's going to play out.
No. We'll talk a lot more about the football game coming up. So A&M, the semifinals tonight. The final is
Sunday. It's a 2:30 start.
So the final, if the Aggies win, will be on Sunday against the winner of Wisconsin and Kentucky on the other side of the bracket.
Correct.
If Jamie Morrison pulls this off, or whether he pulls this off or not, he may have deserved a drink or two, to just calm down, unwind, recap the season that he had. But he might want to be a little bit careful now with what's going on in Athens, Ohio. Have you seen this story out of the Ohio football program?
I saw a little bit of it, but I haven't dove fully into what's going on with the Bobcats.
So Cade, I believe, has a tweet about this, and I can't read the tweet, Cade. So
I got you.
So go ahead and read. So this is a quote tweet. Go ahead and read the tweet about the head coach's name was Brian Smith.
Absolutely. So former Ohio football coach Brian Smith's attorney provided a statement saying that they, quote, vigorously dispute the university's grounds for termination. The attorney says they, quote, plan to fight this wrongful termination to protect his good name. The update is 10 TV. I don't know what that means, but 10 TV in Columbus obtained a personnel file stating Brian Smith violated the university's alcohol policy by admitting to drinking alcohol in his office, storing it in his desk, and inviting assistants to drink after games.
10 TV is a local television affiliate, by the way.
Okay,
that's what that means.
Yeah,
it'd be like saying TexAgs has acquired or confirmed or something in a tweet like that. They're the outlet. They're the media outlet.
That personnel file, had a November 24th letter detailing the meeting where Smith allegedly acknowledged that he was storing alcohol in his desk drawer while also admitting to the consumption of alcohol in his office during business hours. Now, I think this is a very delicate line that the university must be walking here, because to me, when you're dealing with they're all adults. Now, if they go and, he was drinking before games or drinking to excess around his athletes, I think there's a different story to be told here. But as of right now, as I'm sitting here, all he's admitted to is he's had a couple of pops in his office.
Okay.
That's all he's admitted to. Now,
which I've seen the TV show Suits. They drink in their office all the time.
Well, and we've also seen the movie Flight with Denzel Washington.
I'm drunk right now.
I'm drunk right now.
Cade, I'm drunk right now.
Margaret, I'm drunk right now.
I'm not actually drunk right now.
So, but I think this is very interesting, because for his lawyer to come out and be that strongly worded about how they vigorously disagree with the university's description of his termination, it seems to me that the administration at Ohio University was looking for a reason to fire him for cause so they don't have to pay him.
Well, did you see what the Columbus Dispatch is reporting 43 minutes ago?
No, I didn't.
The headline reads, Ohio University says Coach Brian Smith had an affair with a student.
Oh, well, here we go.
Sharon Moore Part 2?
Well, it just, of course, this would come out right before the #1 drive time show in America, and I didn't see this coming into the show, so now that the allegations get a little bit more serious.
Another thing that happened pretty much right before we began today is Texas new defensive coordinator Will Muschamp.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but I wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on, all right, let's just.
So the first graph is Ohio University fired head coach Brian Smith after he admitted to having an extramarital affair with an undergraduate student, and the Dispatch in Columbus had obtained that. So they fired him for cause on December 17th, and he has vowed to fight his termination after one season.
Well, that's changed in the last day, right? Because yesterday Kate, can you pull that tweet back up? What did it say that the lawyers were fighting? Did it say specifically the alcohol?
The plan to fight this wrongful termination to protect his good name.
So they didn't. They never
dispute.
They never said anything about him. Well, the reports never said that. You're showing never said anything about an extramarital affair,
right? But
nor did the report say anything about him admitting it to university officials,
right? So
which the Columbus Dispatch has obtained. So it sounds like the university has their tracks covered on a wrongful termination suit. If those are the facts, it sounds like Coach Smith is going to lose that lawsuit.
So the reason why I put this on the rundown is because obviously I did not know that he had admitted to an extramarital affair with a student, but I was looking at it through the lens of drinking the alcohol in his office. Now, let's just, obviously, if he had an affair, it's much worse. There's other people now involved. But let's just cut it here. Let's just say that this show happened. We were recording this show. We were live on this show 4 hours ago, and we didn't know about the extramarital stuff. Where are you guys at on drinking in the office? If it was clearly... To me, if it was clearly outlined in his contract that was against university policy, there's not much wiggle room you can have. But these are these are football coaches, highly competitive dudes under a ton of stress. To me, if he was going after games into his office and the coaches were all coming in there and they were having a few beers, like that doesn't move the needle for me at all. And if that were the case, again, this is a hypothetical. If that were the case, then I think whoever they're going to hire next, unless they're a non-drinker, this would be like, hey man, like I can't unwind in my own office after a big win or whatever. Like, what's the deal here? But where are you guys on this deal?
I think timing is very, very important on if and when you're drinking on the job. And on the job is, I think, loose. Right, I think that's a very vague description.
Yeah, because you're up there all day.
I'm up here at this office all day. But if I'm going to sit here on Saturday watching the game after we've had a tailgate outside, I don't know if we're actually having a tailgate this week. I don't think we are. But in the past, I have had a beer or two in the lobby while watching Texas A&M play football. But I know it hasn't impaired me or caused me to do my job any differently.
Yeah,
haven't been drinking. I think timing matters significantly.
Volume
and whether or not it's to excess.
I agree with that.
Are all three very important aspects here, because what's to say he goes out and on a Saturday afternoon they knock off a team.
They beat West Virginia this year.
They beat it, but they beat a team that they shouldn't, right? And they walk back into the office and him and his coaches have a celebratory drink. There's no more work to be done. Just as long as you're not drunk and you drive home.
Or I don't even mind, like, if the building's empty and you're not around your players and it's just you and your coaches, all grown men, and you guys want to sit, and even if you want to tie one on a little bit, now, is that the best place to do it? Probably not. But as long as you are not endangering yourself, your players, you're going to have somebody come get you. If you're responsible about it, I think I'm more okay with it. But again, like, I don't know what his contract said. I don't know what university policy is at Ohio. I just thought this was very interesting because, Sam Pittman was very famous for, hey, how are you going to go celebrate this, Coach?
Well, go have cold beer.
I like me an old cold beer. Now, is he doing that in his office or in the comfort of his own home? Who knows? But you're crazy to think if there is no head coaches across this country in any of the major sports, they're having a couple pulls in their office after just to unwind after a long day or even after a game. So now the severity of his issues has ramped up in the last 2 or 3 hours.
Also, if that's but just take the extramarital affair, and I did read on Twitter that his attorney is claiming he never had an extramarital affair, so they're still going to fight this.
Why would he admit to that, though?
The president is saying the university president is saying things, so now the lawyer is going to fight it, right? It seems like it's going to get ugly. But take the extramarital affair, and we're still just talking about the alcohol thing. It's on him for not knowing that's how the contract's written. If it's written so strictly where they vehemently prohibit any alcohol consumption on university grounds by university employees, that's on you, dude. You got to know.
I agree.
You got to know.
Now, I'm not absolving him of saying he didn't do anything wrong. If it was in the bylaws and he broke them, then yeah, he's subject to be fired for cause. I was just more on the, I guess, not the morality, but how do we feel about a guy having a few pops in his office after a game?
Again, I think timing, volume, and whether or not it's still excess is very important. I have no issue with it if you're not breaking any rules and you're still able to do your job the way it's supposed to be done.
All right, our next snack, we are going, so we just went healthy and savory. We're going to go a little bit healthy and sweet. Kate, I'm going to throw this toward the door. There it goes right there.
This sticker is dangerous.
This is Nature's Bakery Fig Bars.
But I sure do love Fig Newtons.
And these are better than Fig Newtons in my opinion. I really enjoy these. They used to sell these at one of the gas stations I would frequent in town. I'd stop and get the blueberry every time.
These are all right.
They're easy.
Texture's a little weird for me, though. Fig Newton's better.
Fig Newtons are hard. These are softer. Fig Newtons are
Fig Newtons aren't hard.
They give you they offer a little bit more resistance.
No.
These are soft.
You're high. You're not storing your Fig Newtons correctly if you think they're hard.
I haven't eaten any solid food today. So
what are you doing to make Fig and his Newtons hard?
Whoa. Look at them with adoring eyes. That's all it takes. What do you think, Kate?
Tasty.
Tasty.
Good.
They are good.
Semi-healthy. Well-rounded. Well, again, we're going for a well-rounded snack pack here on a Thunderdome Thursday on the B team as we continue our talk around the college sports landscape. We will get to A&M Miami in just a little bit, and we are going to pick all the playoff games this weekend. Plus, I have a bowl best bet.
Oh, what?
Our best bet. Not really an upset special, but you'll see when I get there. All right. Around the college football world, college sports world, not football. Doug Gottlieb resurfaced yesterday. Did you see this?
No, I haven't heard anything from Doug Gottlieb since he went to Green Bay, right? Is he still there? Where'd he go?
Yes. Or is it Green Bay or Greensboro?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yeah, he's at Wisconsin Green Bay. And as you may have known, that when he took that job, he maintained his radio show as well as his podcast. Well, things have not gone well for Mr. Gottlieb, who, when you start diving into his past, there is some credit card fraud in there, as well as some other unsavory things. But he had become one of the premier talking heads in college basketball and offered his opinions on how well coaches were coaching, how well players were playing, or most of the time the complete opposite of that. He liked to chime in and kind of bury people that weren't playing well or coaching well. And so now he's taking this job at Wisconsin Green Bay while keeping his radio show and keeping his podcast. However, things have not gone well for Mr. Gottlieb in Green Bay. Currently, the Phoenix are 6-7. They did win yesterday, a 3-point win over the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. But at 6-7, they enter Horizon League play currently with the
What's
ninth
their
best
record again?
6-7. Did Cade do it?
There you go. Yes, Cade did it.
I've done it twice
That's
already.
a shout out to Reese Nygren, who's also in the chat.
Oh.
The 6-7 boys, as they are known.
So it was, at 6-7, the Phoenix are really kind of they're at a turning point potentially of their season. They've got to make a decision on which way they're going to go. And if you're going to climb yourself out of a meddling season, you really got to be all in, right? You expect your players to be all in. And I would imagine that Coach Gottlieb has had those types of discussions. Those are traditional coaching discussions for any competitive team that wants to win at a high level. So I thought it was very selfless, Cade. Very selfless if you want to go ahead and pull the tweet up.
Well, I have the video.
Okay, good. You have the video?
Yeah, I'll play the video.
So here's Mr. Gottlieb after in front of the press.
There's a lawyer who helped us bridge the gap with the Oneida tribe. His name's William, and I never forget when I met him. He asked about my twins, and he said he was listening the day I called in because my twins were born prematurely. I've been doing it for a long time. But these kids owe a fully dedicated coach. I know I'm fully dedicated. Marcus is like, dude, it doesn't matter. But, you only get one shot at this thing. And if there's any ounce of lack of preparation or any ounce of fatigue, this is going to sound crazy, but last week we go down to Indy, and because of the timing of my show, the bus had to leave without me, and I flew. And I don't think that's what I want to do as a coach, and I'll still be doing podcasts, and iHeart has been amazing about it. So we'll transition to a different version of it. It'll still be the same stuff, but I'll do it off office hours and at home, and you can take days off, and I can have a life. But like Thanksgiving, I had all three of my kids in town, and I had to work on a Friday because I gotta say I wanted to bank those holiday days for when we travel or for game prep or whatever. And
of you to work on Black Friday.
What a noble character this Doug Gottlieb is,
man. I worked on Black Friday. I also worked on Thanksgiving.
He's willing to give up his radio show to fully devote himself to his college basketball team, of which he's the head coach.
Congrats, man.
Are you kidding me?
Way to go. You've done the bare minimum.
He wanted the biggest pat on the back from everybody and say, oh, look how selfless this guy is. Why were you doing it to begin with? And furthermore, to the Green Bay administration, why did you hire him under these pretenses?
Just trying to get a name, trying to get name recognition, to get better players here.
And they haven't won anything.
They've been irrelevant.
After the first season of this, I would have, first of all, don't hire him and allow him to do it to begin with. But if you want to see if it can work, I would tell him you have one season. If this doesn't go well, you're done with your podcast, you're done with your radio show, or you're done coaching basketball here. But for him to act like this is the most noblest thing a coach has ever done. Well, these kids, they really deserve, I know I've been giving it my all. No, you haven't. No, you have not. You said you've been giving it everything you have and then went on to explain scenarios in which you didn't give it everything you had.
He needs to take some notes from Woj.
Yeah, Woj is a dog.
Yeah.
Doug Gottlieb ain't a dog. I just couldn't believe when I listened to this guy talk about him stepping away from his radio show as some sort of giant sacrifice that he should be lauded for. And then had the gall to talk about, well, last week we left on a road trip and the kids got to get on a bus, but because of my show, I had to fly.
Bummer.
And I really don't want it to be like that. What did you expect, dude? You didn't want it to be like that.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, it didn't have to be like that from day one.
You made it like that.
That's crazy.
Man. Anyways, hope he has a very happy
What an
night
incredible
of Hanukkah.
lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lack of self-awareness, the condescension and the arrogance to just blow all that out like it's like this is normal and people are going to see this through your point of view and not light you up for it. That was crazy.
Not smart.
I can't believe people would go play for that guy.
Not smart, man. That whole situation at Green Bay is going to end, and it's not going to get better. It's just going to end.
I agree.
So he's going to go away, and the Phoenix are going to go hire a new coach. Maybe they'll win the Horizon League every now and then. That coach is going to get poached by a group of 5 team, and maybe that coach is eventually going to make to the Power 5 level. But it ain't going to be Doug Gottlieb. The coaching thing's going to end sooner rather than later, and he's going to go back to being a media guy full time. When you left the coaching profession to join the media, there wasn't an opportunity to do both. It's one or the other.
There shouldn't have been.
It's one or the other.
There shouldn't have been. Okay.
I think everybody knew that except for Doug Gottlieb and the administration at Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I don't disagree. All right, we do need to move on. We do need to talk about the coaching change that happened in Austin, and I think caught a lot of Texas fans on their heels. Certainly caught me by surprise when it came across my scrolls today. Before we do that, we're back on the savory, and let me tell you something about these. No free ads, but I have been eating these Dots home-style pretzels.
They're the best.
Like crazy.
Evangelist would run through like 5 bags a day, the little ones.
You can't stop eating these. And these are the original. I do have some of the flavored ones at home.
The originals are the best.
Those ones are better than the flavored ones. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Cade, if you want to come in here and get you a handful of these, if I can get them open. But if you want to come get a handful and we will enjoy the best pretzels on the planet, especially the best pretzels that you can buy just sitting in a store.
Best pretzels on the planet are Ben's. The soft pretzels.
Man. Dots home-style pretzels. Just get the original, bold and savory.
I'm glad the users got to see the glow up. Fade Bickham.
He needs a new haircut. He needs another haircut. How good are those?
So good, man.
You can eat that whole bag, no problem. Top tier. A top tier snack, these pretzels. Hate them, Jimmy. Most of the time when I buy stuff for Thunderdome Thursdays, I keep them at the office for everybody to enjoy.
You're going to take those home?
These will be coming home with me. However, the rest of the stuff in my goodie bag.
Does Bo's mama like those?
Bo's mama likes them.
Good.
She's the one that put me on to them. I'd never had them until she started buying them for the house.
And those are the best.
So good.
I could eat so many more of those.
Yes. Okay, so this didn't make the rundown, but we do need to talk about Coach Boom back in Austin, Will Muschamp, taking over from Pete Kwiatkowski, who really turned the Longhorn fortunes around on the defensive side of the ball over the last 2 years after they had struggled early in Steve Sarkisian's tenure. He brings in Pete Kwiatkowski. They were an elite defense in 2024. I think you would say that. And then in 2025, I thought they were pretty good. They were really good against A&M in the finale, and they started playing well, especially down the back end of the season. Now you look at the Georgia game, you're going to say, well, how can you say they did well on defense when it was 35-10? Well, you saw how they were playing early. Georgia hit them. It was a combination of the Texas offense being completely inept, then the onside kick. It was just kind of steamrolled on them. But I thought for a large chunk of that game, I thought the Texas defense played pretty well.
I remember a different coordinator being at fault in that game, not the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, so
this guy's got him like.
Well, this guy was monkeying around on the sideline.
Yeah, I was saying Pete Kwiatkowski's not the one with the monkey on his back.
You got a monkey on your back. You must be doing tricks, huh?
Should we run a poll on these bits we're doing? Or do you think the voters would assassinate those polls?
Wow. We'll have to, let's put that to the chat. Ask chat. What do we think?
What do we think? Are you guys a fan of poll assassin jokes?
But Coach Boom, Will Muschamp, returns to Austin, and that was quick. And it was so quick. And this is 1,000% speculation. But firing and hiring a defensive coordinator, a prominent member on your coaching staff, would indicate to me maybe that Steve Sarkisian wasn't at the head of this decision.
It's a very interesting thought process. Show your work.
So wait, just to clarify, they fired PK and they hired Will Muschamp
like that.
Correct.
And they fired him after their defense has been good enough to get them into the playoffs 2 of the 4 years he coached there. 2 of the 5 years he coached there.
Well, he wasn't.
And you can make the argument they're probably good enough to make it this year.
Exactly.
They not lost to Florida.
That's shocking and appalling.
Reminder,
honestly.
they're out of the playoff because they lost to Florida, not because they lost to Ohio State.
They parted ways with the official wording is parted ways with Pete Kwiatkowski as well as longtime defensive back coach Dwayne Akina. He was at Texas from 2021 to 2025 and really started getting the ball rolling in the right direction the last few years, right? The last couple of years. And again, like I thought they were pretty good on defense, and I thought they were really good on defense the year before. So it's an interesting move because, and I don't know that like, and I think it would catch or did catch a lot of the Texas fan base off guard because they didn't see it coming. So I'm like, I'm trying to think how, like, it'd be like if A&M, Colin Klein's taking a head coaching job, and good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But if A&M got rid of Colin Klein out of nowhere and had like an immediate replacement, so that makes me think there's a couple of things that could be at work here. If Steve Sarkisian was the trigger man on this decision, then I think there was probably some dynamics amongst the coaching staff that weren't going well. Right? Maybe it was a little toxic.
Kate, I'm going to send you something. You got to put this on the air.
Did you find a meme?
You could say so.
So it either was a bad dynamic within the coach's locker room that Steve Sarkisian said, look, it's going to cause division. I can't have it. I got to make a move. Or somebody, one of the higher-ups, was just not pleased. And at Texas, there's a lot of higher-ups.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yes. And a lot of cooks that have a lot of money in the kitchen, and they think their dish is best, and they think they know the recipe the best. So, again, I'm not insinuating anything. This is totally speculative. I don't know anything. I haven't been told anything about this. As a matter of fact, I know less about the inner workings of Texas A&M football right now because of what I've done the last 7 days, much less the University of Texas, who I have, only hear stuff through the grapevine via recruiting, agents, that kind of stuff. So, again, I'm just making this up in my brain as a reason why this would happen. What do you got, Cade?
Hold on, I'm still working on it.
Okay, so we talked about Callie and Kay. They're up in Kansas City for TexAgs, covering the Final Four. They've got a thread on TexAgs, the premium chat. Sorry if you're not a premium subscriber. You should be. You absolutely should be. Entitled Kay and Callie Kansas City editions, where they're talking about where they've gone for food, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, today is the first game that A&M's playing in Kansas City, hopefully the first of two, as Brauny throws more food at Cade. And for these arrivals, they're doing kind of like a red carpet arrival thing for the teams. They get out of the car, they get off the bus, they walk in through the fans, and obviously part of the coverage is taking care of social media, photo stuff. But the NCAA conveniently had a photographer's mandatory meeting at 5:15. A&M's supposed to arrive at 3:15. A&M's supposed to arrive at 3:30. Kay apparently frantically texts Callie that the team's arriving. She needs to come out, take photos. Callie, in her haste, runs out into the Kansas City weather without a jacket on. Currently feels like 16. That's not the funny part. The funny part is that her blonde bestie did her dirty and took this photo and posted it on the interwebs of Callie Garner freezing.
She does not look
outside.
happy.
She does not look happy at all.
Yikes.
That's just wow.
One thing about
Could you imagine if I embarrassed you like that in front of our audience? What would happen?
Could you imagine? Well, you got to know that the dynamic between Kay and Callie and Kaylee, the Blonde Brigade, is they are best friends, but they will throw each other under the bus with a quickness. The next snack, we're going back to the sweet, a little bit healthy. This is a brownie by the same company that made that little fig bar. Nature's Bakery. So
this is good. This is real good.
Soft, not too dense, not dry. Very good snack. I could pop half dozen of these on a hour and a half road trip, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. These remind me of those like mini brownies.
Not
you
that
get like an HEB, but it's not like as sweet and as unhealthy for you.
Exactly.
These are good.
Tastes like you could, it's a little bit cleaner for you. What do you think, Cade?
It's good. It's kind of got like a Cliff Bar type of vibe to it, except
no grain, no oats.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But good snack. Again, I think I put together quite the the menu here for my guys. So Pete Kwiatkowski out. Will Muschamp headed to Austin as the defensive coordinator.
And Callie's cold.
If you are an A&M fan, you will know that A&M has not done well against Pete Kwiatkowski defenses. So it'll be interesting to see if that could change the dynamic of that game next year. Probably no more than A&M changing offensive and defensive coordinators as well, under much different circumstances. But start looking toward A&M and Miami. We'll talk about our score predictions here in a little bit. But got about 20 minutes left. I do want to say we hit on this a little bit yesterday. The media coverage leading into this game has been crazy. I have not been on this side of town at all. So it's been hard for me to feel the vibe of what College Station's turning into. But in my strolls from the hospital or from my house on the south side of town, I mean, everybody's breaking this stuff down. Everybody. And I think it's going to be really cool to have McAfee and his crew on the sideline as the kind of alternate play-by-play broadcast. I'm a huge Sean McDonough fan. I like Greg McElroy. I know there are a lot of A&M fans that do not like Greg McElroy.
And the ball is free.
But Sean
Jalen
McDonough
Watts Jackson in the end zone.
haunts Richard's nightmares. Sean McDonough,
He's
though,
so good at his job, man. He's
elite.
so good at his job.
But if you don't like those guys, switch over to ESPN2 and listen to McAfee and his crew crack jokes for the entire game. But
Was it the Fiesta Bowl the year that TCU just embarrassed Michigan in the semifinal? Was that at the Fiesta Bowl or was that somewhere else? I can't remember. But they did the alternate broadcast, and I believe it was McAfee and Kubelik and Taylor Lewan, former Michigan offensive lineman. I think RG3 was there. That was the year his wife went into labor. Yeah, you remember all those memes? And that's the only thing that kept me watching the four quarters. Because if you remember correctly, J.J. McCarthy threw like three pick sixes in that game. TCU ran away from Michigan. It was haunting. It was terrible.
It sounds like 9 showed up to that game and not J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, 9 showed up. Yeah. J.J. McCarthy showed up to play the Cowboys on Sunday night, though.
McAfee and his crew are hysterically funny.
They do a good job on that alternate broadcast.
So, and there was one of the games last year, I think it was the Rose Bowl. Was that Ohio State, Oregon? Yeah, that's correct. A.J. Hawk, Ohio State's all-time leading tackler, great Buckeye linebacker. His son got sick in the middle of the game and barfed all over the people in front of him, and they broke that down for a few minutes. But I will say this, McAfee seems like an enormous fan of Mike Elko, and he and Nick Saban today just heaped praises on A&M. Do you have that video, Cade?
I do, yeah.
Let's listen to McAfee and Coach Saban.
I think they take a lot of pride in that, obviously, down there, as being a fan base that knows when to yell, knows how to yell, and they have yell leaders. It's not cheerleaders. We got yell leaders. Like, they are promoting it from the day they get on campus. We're heading to that midnight yell the night before, Coach. If you want to come with us, it's going to be late after, obviously, the Oklahoma game day whenever we travel down there. They have a pep rally, basically, at midnight before every single home game that 50,000 people show up to. It's like... You're talking about commitment and being on display for the world here, opening college football playoff weekend. I think we got it right here, Coach. Legit, I think we got it right.
But I have a tremendous amount of respect, even when I was coaching and happened to go play there. The traditions that they have at Texas A&M and the spirit that they have at Texas A&M, it's unique and special, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for it. It's almost reminds me of like coaching at the Naval Academy, where they have this tremendous pride, and you see that in the Army-Navy game, but they have that at A&M too. It's something different. It's something special.
They're loud, man. I can't wait to be on that sideline. I didn't even think about us not even being able to hear the whole podcast.
Yeah, huge chance.
Yeah, I thought about
What?
I'd like to know. I'd like to get your guys' opinion. Are you taking the crew there?
Yeah.
Or are you just going?
Crew.
So you tell me after this game if they're piping in noise or not.
I'll pay attention.
Yeah, we will certainly be snooping it out, okay?
That was Pat McAfee, Nick Saban, and A.J. Hawk today talking about the atmosphere with McAfee entering Kyle Field for his alternate broadcast. I will say I've been trying to eat up as much of the playoff hype coverage as possible. If you're an A&M fan, you would have done well to avoid a lot of these preview videos, though, because everybody is picking Miami. And I think outside of Josh Pate, every talking head that I have just about. I mean, maybe one of the cover 3 guys picked A&M, if I remember correctly. But it has been a ton of Miami love, and I think it's just recency bias. A&M did not look great. Obviously, South Carolina sticks out in a lot of people's minds. That first half was brutal. They did not look great in the second half against Texas. And Miami went up to Pitt and won comfortably. And I think just a lot of people are – the latest thing that has stuck in their mind is how both teams have played. And, look, Miami can come in here and win this game. No question they can.
Absolutely.
They absolutely can. So I'm not saying it's crazy for a bunch of people to pick Miami, but it has been surprising with A&M as a 3.5-point favorite how many people are picking the Hurricanes outright. And I do wonder how the break has affected both teams, because I know, like in baseball, if you're playing well, you don't want to break. Mm-hmm. You want to keep playing. And if you're not playing well, you do want to break.
Yes.
So maybe, Miami was red hot toward the end of the year and playing really good ball. Maybe this break slows them down. And for A&M, even if it takes Miami, a quarter to get up and running, you have to take advantage of that, because you got to keep the crowd in it. And I think if you can play from ahead in this game, it'll be massive. But I think these teams are as evenly matched as you want. You can talk about one quarterback being inconsistent, the same that what you can with the other. You can talk about the highs of Carson Beck. You can talk about the highs of Marcel Reed and how they can change games. Carson Beck, completion percentage is through the roof when he's going good. When he's not, he throws the ball to the other team.
The other thing that people have been talking about a ton is they've essentially described Marcel Reed as turnover prone. And I know what he did in his last 4 quarters of meaningful football against SEC opponents, right? He's got 4 interceptions. He also lost the fumble at Texas, right? So 5 turnovers in his last 2 games against Power
teams,
5
right?
opponents. Yeah, real teams. I didn't want to disrespect the Sanford Bulldogs, right? Anyways, do you know how many total interceptions Marcel Reed has thrown this year?
8?
It's 10.
10.
You know how many total interceptions Carson Beck has thrown this year?
10.
I just gave you the answer. It's 10. And I don't understand why one is more turnover prone than the other. They both throw picks and make bad decisions when they're under pressure. Look at who Carson Beck has played in his last 4 games.
Yeah, and
it's not exactly a murderer's row, guys.
And stat noted by Olin Buchanan. I heard him in the lobby talking about this after the show today.
Well, we got to double check Olin's stats, by the way.
It's a good point. But the 2 best pass defenses that Miami played, other than Notre Dame, were Louisville and SMU, in which Carson Beck threw 6 of his 10 picks.
Yeah,
4 against Louisville, 2 against SMU.
And everybody, and
A&M's the highest rated passing defense Miami will face all year.
And you talk about Kyle Field, and I do think Kyle Field has a chance to be a major factor in this game.
First time they're going to play in front of a crowd over 75,000, right?
Yes, but Carson Beck in his career has been in a lot of big atmospheres and played well and won. So there's, for every point you want to make for Miami, you can make one for Texas A&M and vice versa. So that's why I think the line is as tight as it is. That's why I think a lot of people are picking Miami, is because they looked better against inferior competition, but looked better than Texas A&M did over the final stretch of the season. And I think that it is the most intriguing game of the opening round to me.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's so much media interest on it, because there's only one game on Saturday in the college football world that's actually interesting. The other 2 games could get interesting.
Yeah, if you're,
but that's only if Ole Miss and Oregon stumble. Right. In no world should those games be even competitive.
Well,
those 2 teams should blow them out.
I think James Madison has a better chance against Oregon than Tulane does against Ole Miss.
Probably.
That's fine, but that's still
there's still not much of a chance either way.
And the only other interesting game in the first round is going to be played Friday night in primetime window, completely in a window opposite Texas A&M and Miami. That's why there's so much media focus on this. That's why the national media is literally going to go to Norman Friday night, and then once that game's over, come to College Station, get 3 hours of sleep, and go to Kyle Field. That's why, I don't know. I don't know why they're so high on Miami. They haven't really been that impressive.
Well, but they're talented. They got NFL players, and and
I don't mean to try and disrespect them, because I absolutely know they stack up their tail of the tape, whatever you want to call it. They look like an SEC team on paper. They have the
giant
talent.
offensive
They're
line.
going to have a
good
lot of
pass
NFL
rushers.
draft picks, stuff like that.
Very very steady running game. I don't think it's elite, but steady backs. They've got a premier receiver like A&M does, and then a couple of good ones around them that complement them well. There's a lot of similarities between these teams. And look, let's be quite frank. There's one massive advantage for Miami, and that's in the kicking game. It's not. I'm not saying their guy's a world beater, but I'm just saying A&M has really struggled. As we move on.
Yeah, well, what did you make of Mike Elko on Wednesday saying that they're going to just make a decision later in the week on who's going to handle the place kicking duties?
Whoever makes the most kick during that week in practice, I don't know. Like that's bad. It's bad that we're in game 13 and this is the decision we're having to make.
Great.
Yep.
I've already started on mine. I've already eaten as much as I want to of it.
I know you're not a big. I like these.
They're not. They taste good. The texture's just so
too
weird
chewy.
to me. It's too.
I think it's
agree
too
with Kate.
chewy.
It is.
It does taste good.
Built Puff protein bars.
Yeah,
they are chewy.
They are good. I will say that they are tasty. I like the chocolate. I like the taste, but the inside, it's just like it's too chewy of a marshmallow.
Okay, I can respect that. Maybe not at the top of the list of my elite snack pack, but it did make the cut. And before we go to the GOAT, which will be the last, I picked these up today. These were not part of our Little Debbie power rankings.
Those are good.
I wish they would have been, because I think these would have been a contender. These are the chocolate chip cream pies. Whoa.
Brad Duncan says he'd rather see Owen Buchanan rolling out there for a kick. Have you seen his legs? Absolutely not.
Bird legs.
That's what Reese Nygren said. Way to have an original thought, Cade.
Ooh.
Yeah, Cade's off camera. He goes, they should use whoever makes the kick on game day. Reese Nygren said it first.
Chocolate chip cream pies. And I will say, especially this time of year, an elite snack pack cannot be considered elite without Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. They were out of them at HEB today. They're such a big hit. They
there
had
were some
none
upstairs,
on the
weren't there?
I didn't see
I think
any
there
upstairs.
were.
Anyway, chocolate chip cream pie. We have given up on anything healthy now or anything savory. The final two pieces of our snack pack are going to be sweet. Two very processed chocolate chip cookies with a little whipped cream in the middle. That is good, though. You don't like them?
No, they're good. Brawny's a fan of a cream pie. Everyone knows this.
Okay, do you want to help us out here?
Yeah, it's good. I had a comment, but I'm a
Dynamite drop in. All right, let's pick some games. Got about, let's go 5 minutes, okay, so we can get everybody out of here so we can go to watch Jamie Morrison and company. Friday night, as Richard said, it is round one of the college football playoff kicking off in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners against the Alabama Crimson Tide, a rematch from a game earlier this year in which OU went into Tuscaloosa and kind of handled Alabama comfortably. The Sooners are a 1.5 point favorite at home. It's a pick 'em.
I just think it's so difficult to beat the same team twice
Exactly.
in 1 year. But I'm not high on Ty Simpson. I'm not.
How healthy is he?
And I'm not impressed with John Mateer either.
Those chocolate chip cream pies are elite.
I still think Kalen DeBoer is probably the better of the two coaches, although Brent Venables, this is a hand-up show. I was wrong on him way earlier in this show, like earlier on in the season, saying that he wasn't any good. He's got his team in the playoff. He's been fantastic down the stretch this year. I still think DeBoer's a better coach. And in the playoff, I think you got to win in the trenches. It's always a safe bet to bet on the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're always going to have bodies on both lines. Quarterback play is always important. It's kind of like guard play in the NCAA tournament, and then coaching. I think line play goes in favor of Alabama. I think quarterback play is a push, and I give an edge to Alabama in coaching. I think the Tide win this one, but it's going to be close.
The thing is you go back and look at that matchup earlier this year. If Bama doesn't turn the ball over, they probably win the game. Now, that's a big if. That's a massive part of any game, and it's a determining
if
factor.
Auburn doesn't turn the ball over, they beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
And if they don't turn the ball over, they probably beat Georgia. And Hugh Freeze still has a job, but that did not happen. And I'm with you, though. I think it's so hard to beat a good team twice. It was one of the reasons why I would rather have A&M played Miami than Notre Dame.
Yeah.
just because it was going to be hard to beat Notre Dame twice, regardless if it was at home or not. I'll take Alabama to win the game. I don't have a great feel either way. I don't have a great feel of A&M Miami either. So
I also don't think that atmosphere is intimidating when you compare it to the one we're going to see on Saturday. The Palace on the Prairie.
By the way,
nothing.
the final piece to our elite snack pack, one of the goats, the zebra cake.
Zebra.
Cheers, everybody. This is our last show before Christmas. Merry Christmas if you're Jewish. Happy Hanukkah.
Fifth night tonight.
Here's to a great holiday season.
Going to be celebrating.
Cheers to our producer, Cade Bickham.
Here to that. Cade, you're a rock star, dude.
God, these are so good. These are Christmas tree cakes, just without the little crunchy sprinkles on top.
Yeah,
I see.
duh.
But elite nonetheless. All right. These two are could be stinkers. Ole Miss at home against Tulane, another rematch. Oh, yeah, you got to pick the first one. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I kind of don't like how either of these offenses are playing, but I like how Oklahoma's offense is playing less. So I'm going to go Alabama.
I agree with that. I mean, LSU gave them two of the easiest touchdowns of all time.
Horrible.
Or they wouldn't have scored at all. Like LSU had, both of those long catch and runs, there's nobody within 20 yards of the guy, especially the second one.
And I think Alabama has a fairly significant advantage in the wide receiver core over Oklahoma.
Now they got to keep Ty Simpson on his feet, and especially if he's banged up, the Sooner defense could win this game. Their defense, and then the Lou Groza Award winner, Tate Sandell, could win it.
Yeah. Short Sandell.
Yeah. All right. Ole Miss at home in Oxford without their head coach and without many of their coaching staff. They are 17.5-point favorites over Tulane. I like Ole Miss to win. I do think this is a lot of points.
What was it?
17.5.
17.5 is crazy.
Given the uncertainty at Ole Miss, and I know there's uncertainty at Tulane with John Summerall moving on, but he is coaching. So I do think the Green Wave can keep it within the number, even if it's a late score in the fourth quarter to get within the number. So I'll take the Green Wave to Ole Miss to win, Tulane to cover.
I'm good with that. I just think that game's going to be uninteresting because Ole Miss is going to win the game. Maybe they cover, maybe they don't. I'm not going to try and make it interesting for myself. How's that? Because I like to keep my money in my wallet.
You don't want to bet on Tulane and Hanukkah?
You might have just changed everything.
Would that be kosher?
Nice,
might be kosher. Good. That is a dynamite drop in.
Nice, Cade.
Of course, everyone knows we are talking about known sex haver Jake Retzloff.
He is a known sex haver. All right, Cade, you pick that game?
I'll go Ole Miss to cover.
All right,
I don't feel great about it, but Ole Miss
last one that I have a best bet during the bowls. Oregon minus 21 versus James Madison. I think the Ducks win and cover.
Yeah, I'll take that too. James Madison, great story. Awesome to see them make the playoff, but it's not going to make for awesome television.
All the way across the country too. No way. No way.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm going to say that James Madison covers because I want them to cover. So
okay. All right, we're going to pick A&M, give our score A&M Miami in just a second. Finally, my best bet. If you've been watching this show, excuse me. If you've been watching this show, you know where this is going. The Utah State Aggies are 1.5-point favorites against Washington State on Monday in their bowl game. Bet the farm on Utah State to win and cover. I believe they were 10-2 in the regular season against the spread. Bet on Bronco Mendenhall's bunch. That's a pick'em game, essentially. I like that number. Oh, Utah State minus 1.5. All right. Cade, start us off your prediction, A&M Miami. Just give us a score and we'll get out of here.
Ags 24-17.
Ags 31-27.
I like A&M's 28-27, 24-21. Like I think it's going to be in the 20s within a field goal. I would take Miami to cover if I were betting money. I do think Kyle Field will be electric, and I'm hoping that it can be worth the points needed for A&M to move on to a Cotton Bowl date with Ohio State. But we'll see what happens. We are gone until after Christmas. Hopefully when we come back in a couple of weeks, we're still talking about Aggie football and that aforementioned trip to Dallas to play Ohio State. in the Cotton Bowl.
I want to talk about Bo Brauninger's first fight in TexAgs win when we get back.
Let's do that. Thank you guys again. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We'll be back here.
Merry Christmas, Ags.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks.